If I had thought about the odds, I would have never run. Vermont hasn't ousted a first-term incumbent governor since 1964. When you make these decisions, you don't make them based on the odds. You make them based on a sense of responsibility and commitment.
Christine Hallquist couldn't oust the incumbent Republican governor, but her campaign was historic.
Do you see this as a victory for all transgender Americans, all Americans?
Yes, I do see it as a victory for all of Americans.
Her campaign emphasized progressive causes like universal health care and real action on climate change. And even though she's not the governor, Vermont is making progress on some of her campaign promises, like giving everyone access to reliable internet.
You know, we saw the same thing in the 1930s when the cities had electricity and rural Vermont and rural America did not. Same exact aging demographics, flights to the city, increases in poverty. We absolutely have to connect every home and business in fiber. I think the universal broadband bill is awesome. Both sides of the House asked me to come speak to them about what needs to get done, and it all got put in the bill. I think that the bill's existence is really driven by my campaign, and I hear so much discussion now about the importance of broadband that I didn't hear before. We can have Medicare for all, a livable wage, and every child in our state can have the pre-K through college public education system that they need to succeed. If I look at the other issues that I ran on, raising the minimum wage, family leave bill, those are getting through. I think the key will be whether the governor signs these bills this time.
Despite the national spotlight on her campaign, Hallquist says Vermonters weren't concerned with her trans identity. But she does think that they may not have been on board with a woman governor.
I think Vermont likes its white men. We have not elected a woman as a senator or congressman yet. And we had one woman who successfully ran for governor, Madeleine Kunin, and she is an exceptional woman. The bar is way too high for a woman in Vermont. You know, I'm standing on the shoulders of thousands of Vermonters before me who fought for what is right and what is just, and we will continue to fight for what is right and what is just. I did have the opportunity to get a lot of data from hate mail and vitriol and death threats from around the world. I would say the majority of those were because I was a woman, not necessarily because I was trans. It was probably about 2 to 1. It really was a gender-based campaign, and I just happened to be transgender as well.
The man she lost to was Phil Scott, who she had voted for just 2 years earlier.
He's a classic milquetoast white man. And you know what? I had bold ideas about growing Vermont and bold ideas about solving climate change. You know, people called me a Republican, they called me a rhino, they called me progressive, they called me everything in the book. Let's look at the policies and decide upon our candidates based on policies versus name calling.
And while LGBTQ groups continue to celebrate her primary win, she's hesitant to overstate her campaign's significance.
You know, right now things look pretty desperate to me at the national level. It feels like we are backsliding in terms of civil rights. So it's hard for me to even evaluate what positive impact we had. We'll only know that over time. That said, I wouldn't change anything. You know, 9 months of bad diet, little sleep, high stress, and I would do it over again.